Hey, welcome back. So today we are going to be installing some shifter upgrades sponsored by Acuity. They were dope enough to send me an entire care package worth of their goodies. If you've been following the channel or if you follow me on Instagram, I haven't really done many performance upgrades, whether it be handling upgrades, shifter upgrades, or power upgrades. So it's been kind of waiting things out a little bit. I still need to send my ECU out to Honda, so I kind of want to do that before I install the catless downpipe that I have. But we can go ahead and start tackling on some other upgrades, like what we're going to do in today's video, and that's going to be the shifter linkage bushing upgrade. I know it's kind of a mouthful, but there's a lot that goes into installing those shifter linkage upgrades, shifter linkage bushing upgrades, especially in the Type R. Now, I do have a video of me doing it on the 11th gen Civic Si. I'll go ahead and put it up here, or up here, one up there. The flag will show up if you are an 11th gen owner and you want to see that. The process is not really all the same. It is, but it isn't. There's a lot more things that I need to take off in the FK8 engine bay than I needed to take off in the SI engine bay. But, I mean, it's going to be roughly the same. So if you have an SI and you want to see how to do that, how I did it, go ahead, click the little flag that I had up just a minute ago. But for you Type R guys who haven't done something like this before, haven't worked on your own car before, be prepared. I'm about to show you. There is quite a bit of steps to get to the actual shifter linkage bushings, but once we get to them, it'll be easy to pop out, pop back in, and then put everything right back to the way it was. Now there's going to be a series of upgrades, so I'm going to start with the shifter linkage bushing upgrade, and then we're going to move into the interior, and I'm going to do the base bushing upgrades for the shifter, and then I'm going to move to the actual shift knob. I do have quite a few shift knobs from Acuity. I do like their shift knobs a lot. I had it in my FK8, I had them on my 11th gen Civic Si, and now I have them in my Type R. There's just certain things about them that I enjoy, but I'll talk about that in a later video. So without further ado, let's see what these bushings look like straight out of the box. Okay, so here we have the Acuity linkage bushing upgrade, and it's just, you know, the box it comes with. It tells you all the cars that it's compatible with the years. Some nice branding, the Acuity Instagram, Facebook. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop it open. There's gonna be really not much to it. You get a nice sticker. You get the bushings themselves, and 2 retaining rings and some cotter pins. And there you go. That's the entire unboxing. Okay, now that we finished with the unboxing, we can go ahead and get started with the install. And to do that, we gotta remove a bunch of stuff, starting with the battery. Now I'm gonna be noting that I'm gonna be using Acuity's official install instructions for the entire process. That way you have more of a video representation of what the installation is gonna look like. So let's get started. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is remove this harness from this little clamp here, well, the little nut holding it in. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna press a deep 10mm socket until you can remove it like that. So this is the clamp holding onto this nut. Then we can go ahead and take our socket back, hopefully. There we go. Okay, now that you've removed this clamp, we can go ahead and take this nut off. It's just a 10mm. I don't even know if that was necessary, to be honest with you, but there's that nut for that bracket. So let's go ahead and disconnect the battery. Okay, set that off to the side. Now we can go ahead and remove the positive side. Just take that cover out and another 10mm. Don't take these nuts off all the way. All you got to do is loosen them. You don't want to risk them falling off and then, you know, losing them down the engine bay. That's never a good time. So that's off. Now we can take off these brackets. Again, 10 mil. Once you do that, I'll show you from the other side. Once we've loosened this nut, you can go ahead and then unhook that part and then unhook the other end and it'll come out. Now that we got the bracket out of the way, we can go ahead and remove this cover. And there's a handle right here for the battery. This is so that way you're not breaking your back trying to remove this heavy thing. It is really heavy, so be careful. Set it off to the side, somewhere safe. And we can also remove the tray. When you go to remove the battery tray, there's these two little alignment dowels, and this is what's gonna help set this flush to the bracket for the battery. So remember that when you go to install this. These are where those two alignment dials that I was talking about, that's where they're gonna sit. So remember that when you go to install your tray. Next, we're gonna move 5 mounting holes, and it's gonna be this one right there, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Not that one. That one stays. This one. Make sure you get yourself a nice little tray for your hardware. That way it magnetizes and stays in place. We can decompress this little tab right there and the bracket comes right out. So next step, now that we've removed the battery and the battery tray and the bracket, we are going to have to remove the intake, and that's going to require us to detach some harnesses from it. And it's really easy. They're in the back. You just have to press the little clips down. You can do it with your hand, and they'll detach themselves from the actual intake. So here's what that's going to look like. Sorry for such a weird angle, but this is the only way that I can fit a camera over there. This is off my iPhone. So this is the back of the intake itself, and this is one of the clips that I was talking about. And as you can see, I can just press it down with my fingers, and it comes undone like that. Now there's another one. Okay. Alright, so this is going to be the second one right here. And again, just press down with your finger and it comes undone like that. Now the harness is free from the intake, at least this part of the harness is. You still got to remove the MAF harness. So now it's time to remove this harness. First thing you want to do is unplug the MAF sensor so you don't damage the connector or the sensor itself. Undo that clip right there, and these are pretty easy. All you got to do is push back, lift up, push back, lift up, and now we can move this out of the way and we can begin taking out the air box. So now there are 4 bolts that we need to take out. It's going to be this one back here, that one right there all the way at the bottom, and then these 2 up front. So let's go ahead and get started. You're going to need a pretty long extension to reach the one down there, so be prepared for that. You'll also be needing to take off this first clamp right here, and you could probably use a really tiny screwdriver, and that should be more than enough. There we go. Now that we have that removed, there's going to be these rubber like tab things, and you can see this little circle right there. There's one right there. Let's see if you can hear it. you gotta pull up and it comes undone like that. There should be another one under here. That one came out pretty easy. As you can see, they just sit in that hole right there and right there. And then there we go. We got the intake to start coming out. We can push that little accordion intake in, and we should be able to remove this. If you're like me and you weren't able to take it out, don't forget about your bolt. I'm probably just going to leave it in there so that way I don't forget to install it when I go to put everything back together. But here is what the intake looks like. So there's going to be these rubber grommets that are right there, and then one that's right there. So okay, so far we've taken the battery and the airbox out. Next we have to take some the intercooler charge piping out. It's going to be 2 clamps, a sensor, a connector for a sensor, a vacuum hose, and some bolts, and it should be pretty easy. So let's get to it. Okay, so first thing you want to do is unclip this sensor. All you gotta do is press down on the bottom and pull back, set it out of the way. Next we can take this hose clamp off. Okay, seems to be a pain. There you go. Set that off to the side. Next, we're going to take these 10 mils off for these clamps. There's another one right here. Okay, go ahead and grip this part and pull down. And then now we're gonna have to free this from these two 12 mils. All right, those are torqued on there pretty good. That one wasn't that terrible. Okay, now we can go ahead and pull back. Just be very careful. You don't want to either break your sensor or any harnesses in here. I'm gonna go ahead and loosen this clamp just a little bit more. Okay, that helped a lot. And there we go. Put this somewhere safe. Okay, so here is a general idea of where we're going to be working. Now I'm going to change the camera to focus on this harness. There's a bolt that we need to do that's right there. So the next clip that you see is going to be showing you that bolt. That way you have kind of an idea of where we're at. This is where the charge piping connected up to the intake manifold, and this is where the air box was. This would be the back of the air box, battery, so on. So next up is going to be the next bolt on this harness that we're going to take out. I know it's hard to see, but here is the 10 mil that we are going to be taking off. I'm just going to take my 10 mil with extension, and it comes right off. I probably don't need the extension. You probably find it easier not doing it with an extension. There we go. Okay, so now we're gonna move this harness out of the way. All you gotta do is just push back, and then it comes up and out of where it's held. And to put it back in place, just slide it back in. That's it. Okay, now that we can unclip this one and kind of move it back, we have to undo these clips right here that hold this harness. So it's gonna be this one and this one. And all you have to do is just lift up on the clip and then pull out. Same thing with this one. Lift up on this clip and then pull away. All right, once you've undone these two clips right here, that'll make it to where you can pull this harness a little bit more out of the way. And you're gonna need a zip tie and feed it through this hole, so that way it'll help you get the engine harness out of the way so you can better access the two stock shifter linkage bushings. And now we can finally get to replacing those bushings. Okay, so here's a better look at what I did. I just zip tied it to one of these brackets, and that way we have better access to the two bushings right there. Okay, so this is gonna be probably one of the last steps to do. It's gonna be removing this bracket, and to do that, I already loosened this 10 mil, that's why I kind of shifted a little bit. But to remove this piece of wire harness from this bracket, there's a little tab in the back, like right behind it, and you depress it with your finger and pull back, and hopefully it'll come out from this bracket. All right, I'm gonna remove this bracket first and see what's going on with that locking tab behind there, because I could try and do this very, you know, by the book, but as we all know, things don't always happen by the book when we're going to install. So I can see the little locking tab. All right, so that locking tab does not want to come out for me. All right, yeah, it doesn't want to come out. So I'm gonna try and just carefully put this out of the way, and hopefully it won't become an issue. The right way would be to remove that harness from that bracket, that way it's completely out of the way. But yeah, it's not working out for me, so I'm stowing it away safely. It doesn't look like it's doing any, you know, putting in the harness in any terrible positions. So if that happens to you, then yeah, it happened to me too. Now we can start taking the stock shifter bushings, shifter cable bushings out. And I have to strongly advise you to take those retaining clips out that hold the cables in place. Acuity specifically puts it in red that if you do not take those out and you start manipulating the cables, you could potentially damage your cables, especially on older cars that have had the same cables for a very long time and you have a lot of miles. Newer cars, I'm not advising you to, but you could potentially get away with not taking them out and taking the shifter cable bushings out without needing to do that. But for the sake of doing everything the correct way and not causing damage to our car, we're gonna go ahead and take those out. There we go, that's one. That's two, I guess. Get yourself a flathead and remove these little cotter pins, or retaining pins, whatever you want to call them. We're not going to need them. Save them if you want to go back to stock one day. Almost lost it. All right, now you can lift the cable up and start doing some prying. All right, that piece is taken out. Once that piece is taken out, you can stick your flathead in and pry the old one out. We can free the cable a little bit, and that'll give us some more room to work. There we go. And you can repeat the process for the second one. Okay, so here's the newer one. What'll help you put it in is all this grease that you got on yourself from removing the old one. Just put some of it around the O-rings. And then pop it in. And it should go in really easy. Next, you're going to need retaining ring, such as this one. And what's going to help you out is if you just bend it a little bit and go around it very carefully. So we're going to start at the top. Just keep going all the way around. There we go. All you have to do is just keep going around and it will go in place. Next, pop your cable into place. You have to push it from the back and then put it in its hole. And now you can take one of the cotter pins provided by Acuity and not drop it like I just did. Be careful, your hands are going to be really slippery, so make sure you do everything really carefully. Pop it in place like that, and now we could repeat the same thing for the bit larger one. Same thing. Put some of that grease around the O-rings for this, and then just push it into place. There we go. Go ahead, grab your retaining ring, and I just bend it a little bit, not too much, you don't want to break it, and start one end and work your way around. There we go. That's in. Put your cable into place. Pop it in. And grab your cotter pin. And there we go. That's it. Now it's time to put everything back together. Okay, so when it comes time to install these retaining clips, Acuity suggests that you can try using a rubber mallet, but I don't have a rubber mallet, so we're gonna use a regular mallet. yes, I really just took a hammer to my retaining rings. Again, Acuity says rubber mallet. I don't have one, at least not small enough to fit down there, so I'm gonna use a regular one. It'll be perfect fine. It's just a metal clip. Just don't go crazy and hit anything else in your car. All right, when these are in, you're gonna wanna make sure that your clips go behind that groove and not in front of it. And there we go. That's it. That's all we had to do. And I know that seems like a lot, but it wasn't completely terrible. Now all we have to do is just go in reverse order, put everything back together, and then we can see how these new bushings feel. Should feel a lot more solid and a lot more engaging. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Yep. That definitely made a big difference. It just feels a lot more like in place. Yeah. All right. Well, that wasn't too bad. I mean, it was a lot of steps, but overall it wasn't, overwhelming. It's just a lot of little bolts here and there, the intake, charge piping, harness, stuff like that. It's honestly, it may seem a little intimidating on paper when you see the instructions and you're reading everything down, but hopefully you guys watching me do this video will make things, a little bit easier on your mind, so that way you're not like freaking yourself out thinking that you can't do this yourself and you have to pay somebody else to do it, blah, 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 blah. Don't do that. You can do this by yourself. Just take it step by step, follow the instructions that I've given you, follow the official Acuity instructions that I'll leave down in the description box below for you. Also, if you guys want to support the channel, I have my affiliate links down below. Unfortunately, I can't get you guys a discount on stuff, but if you do use my affiliate links, it does help out the channel so I can continue to make videos like this for you guys. It helps me out more than you know. So please feel free to use those. I'll leave everything linked down below. And yeah, I mean, this was a pretty awesome upgrade. Again, don't be too intimidated. It's pretty straightforward. And all I have to say is that remember to install all your sensors back on, the sensor for the charge piping, the sensor for the MAF sensor. You want to make sure that everything's connected. Make sure you put that vacuum line back into the charge piping. Just look over everything, retrace your steps every single time, look over the instructions. You don't want to start the car and not have these sensors going installed, and then suddenly your car's not working properly and you're over here leaving comments saying that your car's not working. Also, since you disconnected the battery, you're gonna get a bunch of Christmas tree lights on your dash. You just have to drive around a little bit and they'll all go away. Don't be worried about that. It's perfectly normal after disconnecting your battery. Your MPG is gonna reset everything. So just, take it one step at a time. I hope this video helped you out a lot. If you have any questions, go ahead, comment down below. If you have anything that you want to see in the future, again, comment down below. Appreciate you for always coming back and watching these videos. If you're a subscriber, if you're new here and you like this video, please consider subscribing, smash the like button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss another episode. And if you want to see any of my past videos, go ahead and click over there. And yeah, see you on the next one. The audio system wants to be turned back on. Yes, thank you. All right, let's go and reset everything. You guys are on my iPhone, so the quality probably went down dramatically. All right. I have to reset the time too. Garbage. All right. Man, I love this car. Yes, yes, yes. We're going, we're going. So far, the shifts feel fantastic. Fan-frickin-tastic. And how long is it going to take for this thing to hurry up? Reset. Watch, I did something. I'm just kidding. I didn't do anything wrong. I double, triple checked, okay? I know what I'm doing. I'm a YouTuber. Probably gonna have to start the car, turn it on and off. Something. I don't know. I'm just going around the block. Around the block. Alright, the intersection of death over here. I don't know how many accidents happen over here, dude. People just run this light all the time. Literally, I've seen cars flipped over. Damn. I love this car. I don't know, if you guys are on the fence about getting a Type R, just do it. Just get a Type R. Yeah, whatever. You want a B58. Alright. That's fine. You can get a B58. They're fast. Probably cheaper than a Type R right now, too, since every dealership in America wants to charge $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. Also, I paid like $56 for this car. So, for everybody asking. It's like, I did get the warranties for like, if things on the inside break, like the electronics and stuff, they'll fix it. I have used warranties in the past. And the wheel protection package, in case I destroy a wheel one day. Dealership did tell me that it covers aftermarket wheels, so we'll see about that when I show them these ZE40s that are coming in. Yo, if you're still watching this video, I freaking love you, dude. Dang, that's some true commitment right there. But I think we're pretty much done. Thanks again. I'll see you guys later.